And let me tell you, let me back it up just a little bit even more than that. Let me tell you why I wanted to rebuild this bike and go to the route I wanted.
Welcome to Motos, Cades, and Coffee.
Hey, good afternoon guys. Andy from Motos, Cades, and Coffee. I was gonna do another video about picking up my Royal Enfield Himalayan with a big bore kit, performance cam, new sprocket, and give you some first impressions. And I did that video, but I didn't like it because it's not right and it's not fair to you. And let me explain. I got about 20 miles, I have about 20 miles into my Himalayan. I got a Hitchcocks 462 big bore kit, performance camshaft, and a 16.2 sprocket. I want to tell you the reason why I went with that kit in the first place, and why I got the kit, and then why I decided to do that full build. I've got a few performance mods already. I had a K&N air filter and a Power Commander ECU update. A new chain and sprocket as well too, but they were stock gearing and teeth. But I wanted to transfer that power. So take a look at what I thought of that ECU upgrade. I made 5 series on it. It was definitely a little bit peppier, and I could feel a little bit of performance difference with just the ECU upgrade. I took my Himalayan on a cross-country tour from Maryland to Montana. Please check that out. That was a really epic journey for me. I did a lot of crazy driving, including a iron butt where I went 1,200 miles in 19 hours. And I pretty much went full RPM the entire time in the Himalayan on the highway. It was smooth and comfortable, well, as comfortable as a 19-hour drive can be. But I think in the long run, I caused some head gasket damage, and eventually I started getting some piston slap. So I needed a rebuild my engine at 11,000 miles, some pretty high RPM driving and pretty extreme driving. So I needed an engine rebuild, and I did some searching, and the cost of a stock rebuild was very similar to going with the performance camshaft and big bore kit. Talked with Hitchcocks. I'll get the prices. I'm gonna say is about maybe 1,500 American dollars, 15 to 1,700 American dollars for the cost of the kit and the camshaft. And I think I'm the first, if not one of the first, to get it mailed and installed in America. I only have about 40 miles on the full rebuild kit so far. I had Cycles of Silver String do the work, and I'll do another video on what it took to rebuild it and what they said about it. That's for another video. I just want to give you my first impression. So I got 40 miles, and I'm not really getting into it. I haven't really been above 4,000 RPM. I'm going to treat it like a complete new brake engine of an engine, change the oil at 300 miles, and check the valve clearances as well. But I can tell you off the bat, there is a different feel to the bike, in a sense. It feels not much different than stock. But let me tell you why. And let me back it up just a little bit even more than that. Let me tell you why I wanted to rebuild this bike and go to the route I wanted. When I drove Maryland to Montana, that highway speed I think really was just maxing out, and I just didn't know how long the engine could last on that. I did 11,000 miles, I needed a rebuild. That's at like 80 miles an hour, full RPM, full gear. I wanted to drop that RPM down and make more a relaxed cruising highway motorcycle, still have the capabilities down low for off-road. And I thought that by giving about 10 more horsepower or so, maybe somewhere in that range with the big bore kit and cam, that I could go up a gearing in tooth and spread out the power delivery and make it a lower RPM bike at higher speed. And truth be told, that's what I got. That's what I can tell you right off the bat. It doesn't feel dramatically different in extreme power. I can feel a little more mid-range punch, but again, I haven't given more than probably 3/4 throttle at most. So the more I drive it, the more I'm feeling differences. It's definitely a little bit more peppy, especially in the mid-range. Not exactly right off the bat low end, but again, I'm not really ripping into it. It doesn't feel dramatically different than stock. But what is different than stock, it is a smoother, more relaxed ride, meaning that I'm not switching gears so often. I can tell you my RPM at 55 miles an hour in fifth gear is about 3,850 RPM, and most stock Himalayans are about 4,550. That's what, 600-700 RPM difference. That's pretty dramatic, and it feels much more relaxed. So again, I have not really just revved the heck out of it, so I don't know what the power is at the higher RPM, but it doesn't feel dramatically different from stock. But again, I'm accelerating quicker with a lower RPM, if that makes sense. And that tricks you into thinking it's not as fast as it is, but it is faster than a stock Himalayan. You're just having more time between gears, if that makes sense. So it's definitely a relaxed feel, and I can tell you right off the bat that I am getting the result that I wanted. Will it wheelie? Will it feel like you're ripping around? Will it accelerate as fast? Well, it doesn't feel like you're accelerating as fast because the RPM builds slower, but you're getting more power and more torque out of there for sure, and taking advantage of that extra gearing. That's my quick take. I'll give a lot more detailed reviews. I'm actually going to get dynoed. I have to break it in 300 miles, and we'll see what happens after 300 miles. This review may change, but right off the bat, that's my opinion. Go check out the links to Hitchcocks motorcycles and also Cycles of Silver Spring. I am enjoying, and I miss my Himalayan. I'm so glad to get it back. We'll go for more ride reviews. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Check out my Patreon channel. I'll have a whole bunch of different specific behind the scenes videos on there, and we'll catch you on the next episode.